All right, so I'm going to try to blast through this. We're going to do some waiver wire / possibly some trade candidates coming down here. 53-man roster cuts finalized in a day or two. So coming out of the Giants game and just in general over the preseason games, I don't think much has changed in terms of what I see as top needs. I guess it gets solidified a little bit more because every week you're looking for a little bit more improvement, but let's just say the things that I think a lot of people are looking at coming into preseason, coming out of minicamp and OTAs, and even just kind of out of free agency and draft. Just what were the position battles and where you're like, someone's going to come out of this and you're like, there's a battle going on there, but looking for somebody to really step forward. Yeah, we're still at the fact that that left guard position I don't think is where it needs to be. I'll take Jared Wilson as an offensive lineman on this team. Hopefully he develops into a strong starter. Good professional for a decade. That'd be great. Also, I mean, Brock Lampy going out, I guess, might be the one that was a development that, hey, we had a fullback in-house with Josh McDaniels. That was like looking positive. Jack Westover, although most people don't really dig in on this, did take actual fullback snaps. Now, it wasn't carries or anything like that, but his alignment at Washington earlier on was fullbackish. So, but again, mostly being an H-back tight end type of guy, but he was capable of doing that. Seems like they're working him in there. Is he going to be a TE3 and also work as like a fullback H-back situation? Possibly, but again, think of him more of as a Juszczyk type of guy, more of an H-back usage there rather than like an ISO block full, big jumbo tight, or not jumbo, but just a heavier, more in-your-face lead blocker. I don't think so, but hey, the guy has shown some skills. He's versatility. Now I don't want to get sidetracked, but the Westover was a very solid prospect at Washington. It's just the guy got beat up. So him coming out, it's one of the overlooked or underrated, would you say, for Elliott Wolf, along with a variety of other guys they picked up on waivers and practice squad, and they picked up on other people's practice squads last year. I just want to, make note of that. But center, again, Jared Wilson kind of taking some ease off that. Getting Bradbury was like, hey, thankfully you have a guy who's done it and is a professional. But I don't think anybody was coming into the season with that being a massive check mark. We're good, put that in Sharpie. No, that was still a question right now. Depth at offensive tackle. I'm not to get on a big sidetrack here, but Morgan Moses being on a management program is incredibly smart. After the age of 30, 32, 33, every year, your body's ability to handle cytokines, inflammatory cycles, responses, all that stuff just goes. Your twitch and your calves start to go from denervation and feet from denervation from all the inflammation. That's on top of injuries. Also, your body, especially during the summer, was really smart for him not to do a lot. When you get older, your ability, especially again in the 30s, is when it starts to drop off your body's ability to thermoregulate because you don't sweat as much. So listening to the catapult vests, getting that data, and just saying hey, when you're starting to work up here and your heart rate variability starts to tighten up, that's it. You got 10 minutes and we're pulling you. So I don't know if that's just a rep count or they are looking at real time data, or if they're just feeling them out, or they're just putting a time clock on it, whatever it may be. That's smart to me. There's no point. These are the guys who are experienced enough to get something out of mental reps. And as long as they're verifying that with some live action here and there to keep it sharp, I'm not too worried. That being said, having backups in left and right tackle are a concern. Kane Wallace has moved to left guard. I'm sure he can probably jump in and be a 4-position backup guy if they need him to be. But having at least one solid backup left or right tackle, and then maybe Marcus Bryant could be your swing guy, I think is starting to become a little bit of a concern, because I don't think Vidarian Lowe is up to speed. It's obvious whatever injuries he had 2 or 3 injuries last year. Really, I mean, he was on. He didn't do anything until a couple weeks ago. So even if they want to keep him as just the backup left tackle, You still need a guy for right. And again, Morgan Moses being a little bit older, God knows how much he's got left in the tank, just period. And then there's just the wear and tear of the season with injuries, people getting rolled up on, and, underrated or overlooked, I should say, for offensive line, which is concussions. That plagued us a couple years ago with, even probably some last year that I think about, but the last year of Belichick was, not only were the bad injuries, lower body injuries bad, but the concussions got a lot of guys out for extended periods. So we got to consider that. So we're looking at guard, tackle, center, fullback. I'd also, a backup nose tackle in there. I know we have some guys that can do it. Maybe someone who also is a little bit more of a penetrator that can be also thrown in there. A guy who can back up Milton in that respect. A Barmore backup. Now Farms and Farmer, I would put those guys kind of closer together for just being. Farms probably a little bit more of a pass rush, and Farmer being a little bit more balanced there. But still, if you can find somebody that might be able to bring a different flavor of, or simply be a carbon copy of one, Barmore or Milton in a way, I'm all for it. QB's obviously going to be on there. They did already let go Woolridge. He's gone, so looking for somebody to do it. I would go lean towards more of an athletic if they want to go that route. So you have a Lamar Jackson simulator. I always think Malik Cunningham would be another, welcome back as a third QB. Don't get me wrong. Jason Bean from Kansas, or who's on, I forget where he's at, but I think he's on a roster right now. I don't think he's been cut yet. But anyway, we'll get into that in a minute. Tight end, again, kind of maybe if you are looking for more of a joker tight end. If you find a wide receiver that brings a different skill set, definitely bring that in. A running back that's got some special teams value. They've been bringing in running backs consistently since camp has started, as guys got injured, and then just trying to bring new guys in to see what they can do there. There's some guys out there. So let's dig into this. I'm going to try to go as fast as I can through all the 32 teams, do my best. I'm going off ESPN. Their depth charts, so it's not going to be all the guys, so I'm going to try to use my memory there, but this is the easiest and quickest way to bang right through it. So if there's somebody I missed, of course, let me know, but I'll do my best. All right, so starting off with the Bills, just the AFC East in general, I don't find the AFC East having a lot of guys, maybe the Jets, but most of the other teams, Bills and Dolphins, really not having a lot of guys I am saliva just drooling for. But Mike Edwards and Chase Lunt might be the only two guys I can think of. Bayer's not bad. Tylen Grable and Clayton could do something for you, but if there's any guy, I guess Chase Lunt for a right tackle, if you want to do that, Mike Edwards as a guard / tackle, you'd have to be confident with Mike Edwards, and I don't know what his injury's at, but those two, and then the rest of these guys, they Richard can play as well, but most of these guys would be maybe not claiming on waivers, but guys who get legitimately cut, and you just want to put them on practice squad and see if you can elevate them at least once and see how they develop in your system. Anybody else down here? Deion Walker looks solid. Dwayne Carter, I'll take this. I'm not sure if Dwayne Carter makes it. I would go for him, or Solomon would be not necessarily a waiver wire, but maybe if he gets cut completely, practice squad. That's about it. Let's go. So that's the Bills. On to the Dolphins. If I can get this thing to click. There we go. Dolphins. I don't think there's anything really on the Dolphins. I would, welcome back Pharaoh Brown, but that's about it. Yeah, I'm not seeing much defense. Mo Kamara might be in Zeke Biggers, but Mo Kamara might be a guy. I'm not sure if he'll make it now that they got Judon. We'll see. That's one. So maybe Mo Kamara. Anybody else in here? Not really. I think that would be cut. There's guys I would take, but I think where they have the starter is correct at all. But anyway, so I got maybe one or two guys on the Dolphins. Jets. Now the Jets, I'll say, have a guy I'm definitely looking at. And it's a wide receiver. It's Malachi Corley. I don't think he's had a great time in their system last year. He's not looking great this year. He needs a system. I think him being a former running back and just being a yak guy, he could be, again, you're going to have to get rid of some guy. I mean, let's say, am I going to give up Efton Chisholm for Malachi? No. But depending on, hey, maybe they do want to take 7 and Malachi Corley, he would be a development. You'd have to put him in there as a development guy. You'd have to say this guy brings us a different flavor and you're taking him over Baker. That'd be kind of hard in many ways, but again, it's a guy that if they are willing to get rid of, you'd be rolling the dice, but maybe at this point in your rebuilding process, you're willing to take a guy that's got a lot of upside has not been used properly and probably could benefit to being in Josh McDaniels' offense. Practice squad guy, if they come completely, would be Zach Kuntz, big tall tight end / wide receiver. He'd give you a decent look. Fornadel, I'd bring him back, and yes, it's Fornadel. That's how he says it. Chooks, nope. Hartwig's on IR. Damn. Anybody else in here? Defense. We'll take Malachi from you if you want to give us that. Not really. Leonard Taylor. Juwan Briggs. Oh, I forgot that he moved here. All right, so Juwan Briggs. There you go. Juwan Briggs, good D tackle, very explosive. I don't want to say good, but he's got something. He's got twitch. He's violent, powerful. Not a bad pickup. So you'd be taking a shot on him because I don't think he's got enough tape to say yeah, he's definitely worth the 53. They had a shot at getting him in last draft and they didn't do it already. So I'm assuming he would be a complete cut and then maybe bring in on practice squad, but who knows? All right, so that's AFC East. What do we go on to North now? Ravens. Ravens might be the best. This is the guy I want to highlight, I think, for the third time already. Lucas Scott, he's a fullback. I don't think they're going to carry 2 fullbacks, but you're looking at a fullback who was a former right tackle at Army last year. He's a rookie, but in high school was an actual fullback, took handoffs, received the ball. So he was like an actual working out of the field fullback that they eventually converted to a right tackle. And being Army West Point, yeah, he knows how to run block. So it's taking that right tackle / fullback experience and putting it. You need a guy who just needs to move bodies. This is your dude. At least this is the dude. This is probably your best ISO. I'm gonna wreck, coming in and just exploding, making huge holes guy. That's gonna be probably available. That's worth developing. Yeah, Lucas Scott. And then guess what? If it doesn't really work out, he can probably play some offensive line for you. He can play that in a pinch if you need it. I mean, obviously. Malik Cunningham, I know. There's Malik. I pointed that out. Maybe if you just don't want to have... this would be, I guess, a practice squad situation again, but if you want to bring in a guy that can be your Lamar Jackson simulator for a year or two, and maybe he can come in and, again, Josh McDaniels taking a former quarterback that's now turned into a wide receiver. Maybe there's something there for him. He's still one of the quickest guys on the field at all times. Very quick 10-yard, decent enough agility. And he's being a former quarterback, he should be able to quickly adjust and learn the system if you want to put him as wide receiver. Quarterback, who knows? He would be, if you're down to your third quarterback for the season, you're in trouble. And at that point, you're probably just trying to get through the season. And maybe if you're in a winning situation and you're going to limp into the playoffs, maybe it's a time to open up a new chapter in the playbook and change things up. So Malik would actually probably be able to give that to you. I'm just saying, if really, low level, the depths, if you're really down and things are bad, having a guy Malik is not a bad idea. Garrett Dellinger, I know he's on this. There he is. That would be a great waiver wire pickup. Left guard from LSU. He was Will Campbell's left guard. And then Emery Jones. Looks like he's out. I don't know what his injury is, but right tackle for LSU probably looks better as a left or right guard. I'll take either one of them. If you can get one of those guys on waivers, I'm happy. If you can get Lucas Scott and one of these two guys, I'll be ecstatic. Anybody else in here? You know, Tez Walker, not sure if he'd be more... Well, he wouldn't be cut. But that would be interesting for Drake May. I think they have... Oh, yeah, they don't have enough space. But Sony Ento would be a big bowling ball running back that you can probably put on practice squad if they get rid of him. And Ozzie Hutchinson, I'm pretty sure, is another offensive lineman that should be in here. That's a decent guard potential. Jared Penning, Trevor Penning's brother. I think, by the way... Just so you know, I think Trevor Penning should be up on the list for the Patriots. Been playing guard. Moved him in at guard. He's looked very nasty there. So that would be a trade. I don't know what you would be trading, what you'd be doing, but that would be a trade for me. Get Jared Penning on the Patriots for a guard/tackle backup. You're good. All right. Done with the Ravens. I'm trying, guys. I'm trying to move fast. All right. Bengals. I think the Bengals have a decent amount. I know they have... Cole Burgess, if you need again, that would be more of a practice squad sign. Coker, that's a decent left tackle. That's one to keep an eye on. Now, they have both Lee and McLaughlin. I don't think they're getting rid of Ted, so Matt Lee or Seth. Now, Seth popped his Achilles last year. Matt Lee was an underrated guy out of Miami. I thought he looked great. I don't know why the Patriots didn't grab him, but... That was 2 years ago, by the way, or 2 drafts ago. But if Seth is a guy you store, you know, have him get strong behind Bradbury for, you know, a few weeks, maybe longer. I don't know where he's at in his Achilles, but, I mean, that's always going to be a lingering concern. But you're talking about one of the best centers, as you know, in the draft last year. So, Caleb Etienne, he's an interesting left-right tackle. Jalen Rivers, left. Yeah, he can. I have him as left. He can probably play right, play some guard for you. So Cincinnati has a decent amount of offensive linemen up for grabs. They should have Eric All too, right? Oh, there he is, Eric All. That's a tight end. I mean, that would be maybe a practice squad guy. Defense, not much probably. Shaka Hayward, if you're looking for a little more of a thumper. I've liked him for a while. I don't know. I thought he'd be a great practice squad grab last year to poach off their practice squad to bring up when Bentley was out. They never grabbed that. Josh Newton, if he doesn't make it, that's not a bad. All right, I'm going to stop there for Bengals. Got to move. Steelers. Calvin, bring him back. Oh, they have Stephen Jones, not left tackle, though. Stephen Jones, I think this is Stephen Jones from Oregon. Yeah, from Oregon. He's got good tape from Oregon. I don't know what it is. Didn't get drafted, but 6'5", 340, moves people around. I don't know. I thought his tape at Oregon was great. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something there. Oh, I went too far. We got Steelers. Anybody else from Steelers? Gareth Warren would be interesting, but he's injured. Most of these other guys, I doubt they're getting cut. Yaha Black. There you go. There's one. Yaha Black. Very violent. Yeah, he could probably do it. He can come in for you. Sebastian Castro. He's pretty good, too. So you got a couple guys on defense. All right, AFC South. Texas. You know, the Texans, every time I look at their roster, I'm always not, like... They're very good at the top, but then their depth is concerning to me. Eli Cox is not bad. Bring Connor back. Bring Trent back. I wonder, you know what? Blake Fisher might be a guy to consider. Notice how Jake Andrews is projected to be their starting center. I don't know why we did that. I don't know. And if that case, maybe Juice Scruggs is up for grabs. Not sure. Oh, Jackson Wood. He's not bad. He would be a practice squad guy that you need to develop for a year. But I liked how he looked. He's from UNLV. He looked pretty good in his tape, and then Shrine Bowl he looked pretty solid too. So there's a linebacker for development there. Texans done. Colts. Colts usually have a decent amount of guys because they keep drafting and they just don't develop and they get rid of them. So maybe there are some guys that are willing to just flush out again. Jason Bean there. So Jason Bean's on the Colts. So Jason Bean. Tyler Coleman, he's interesting. Emporia State. Jalen Travis. Okay, so they have a right tackle. He's one to keep an eye on. Defense. I know they have. So Adetomiwa Adebawore. I like him a lot as a just. But he's like, you have to put him in as just like he's gonna just create. Think of him as very Keon White. Like, he's going to create pressure. He's going to disrupt things, but there's going to be mistakes made. But as a D tackle, I think he's like, was he 6'3", 280 something? 6'2", 282. Yeah, so he'd be very super physical, but all over the place. Juju Brents I would take. He can play some safety for you if you need him to be. Apparently they got Adebawore also playing some strong safety for him. That's interesting. Yeah. All right, it's not bad, but Adebawore would be my highlight there. And then Jason Bean maybe. Jags. Similar. Probably a bunch of guys you might want to consider. Quint Allen. Javon Foster if he doesn't make it. I think Wyatt's going to make it. If he doesn't, that's an immediate grab. Miles Cole, he's pretty good. Big dude, 6'6", like 280. Jalen McLeod, I like him as an edge rusher in the draft. Caleb Randaw, now that's an interesting free safety pickup. That guy can cat blitz very nicely. And Jabbar Muhammad, there's a nickel. All right, and he can play some safety as well. So there's a few in here on the defensive side. Not much on the offense. You know, I realized, I think I skipped the Browns, didn't I? I did. Did skip the Browns. Javion Cone, I'd grab him. Oh, I would consider grabbing him. Same thing with Lorenzo Thompson if he needed that guy. Again, he'd be more of like a practice squad. Pierre Strong, bring him back. Again, practice squad level guy. Shoot. Aiden Huntington, I like him a lot. Him and what's the other? Jenkins from Tulane. Both of them were really, I don't know why, they were really under the radar. No one liked them coming out of the draft really. But another vicious, like he's 6'3", 280, 290. Yeah, or 6'1", 281. So very similar to Adebawore, but I like him too. He's got 2.5 sacks. Man, this guy's ripping it up. Good for him. He might make that team. Titus Leo, I know they got rid of him. I don't know, bring him back on practice squad or something. I don't know. He just plays a variety of different positions pretty well on defense. Darius Rush. Okay. So, I mean, out of the Browns, oh, they have KJ Henry. I mean, you'd be taking a flyer on him. Not a 53, though. Not much. Not much going on there. All right, so we were on the Colts. Now we're going to Jags. Or we did the Jags. Now we're going Titans. They do have a running back, Khalil Mullings. Yeah, bring the guy back. He's Boston kid, big dude. Played fine linebacker a few years ago at Michigan. They converted him to running back. Did pretty well. I thought he'd be a great fullback conversion, but also just a big back. Brandon Crenshaw Dixon, not a great Shrine Bowl, but his Florida tape is pretty good. So He could be somebody you add. Jackson Slater, if you can get him. I doubt it, though. He's probably going to be a great pickup. They probably figured out this guy can play. I don't know what they're going to do with him. Maybe he is the development guy, but that's just I don't know. Sometimes I get wonder why they don't find these guys. They're like right there. I mean, I know it's Sacramento State, but dude, like, guy pops on tape so easily. You just need somebody to look at it. Defense, Cam Horsley, I take that. BC guy. He's got great tape. Curtis Jacobs. Yeah, that's good enough for me. I don't see anything else that's popping. All right, so we did Texans. AFC West. Again, the Broncos have Clay Webb, right? So Clay Webb I'd put high up. Now, again, this is a guy who had high school off the field issues, but that was high school. I don't think he had anything at college, but that's a guy you're looking at. I'm looking at Frank Crum, definitely there, and Xavier Truss. Those three I would definitely sign. Sorry about this. Frank Crum you'd have to develop, but Xavier Truss, you're looking for development or depth at 4 different positions. He can give it to you. Clay Webb, I thought he was essentially the best offensive lineman at the Senior Bowl, especially on the interior. Him and what's his face, Willie Lampkin. So yeah, I don't know. Clay Webb would be for me, guy who can play guard and center at a legit level. Former 5-star recruit for Georgia. I'm grabbing that. Definitely grabbing that. Frank Crum would be development. Offense, anybody else? A.T. Perry, if you need another, well, I guess, yeah, again, it would be like under the circumstance that he, for some reason he makes it to you want to sign him for practice squad. Audric Estime, I'd take him. Is Blake Watson still on this team? Maybe he's the 5th. Blake Watson, keep an eye out for him. Not much going on here. I mean, maybe if you could somehow get J.L. Skinner. That's about it. Everybody else I think is making it that's worth it. Chiefs. CJ Hansen. Kingsley for a trade. Maybe a trade. Move him in at guard. Maybe he's a development right tackle for a year. Whatever you got to do. Esapole, I can put him at left guard. Joey Lombard, Ethan Driscoll. So they have some guys here. So keep an eye out for Chiefs for possible offensive lineman cuts. I don't think all these guys are going to make it. And again, I wouldn't mind giving a shot at Kingsley. Anybody else? Tight end. Jared Wiley, if they cut him. That's a bigger. I mean, he'd be. I don't want to say redundant. He's a little bigger than Mac Hollins, but that's how you'd see him as a big target. More tight end. And not much down there that seems like that might not make it. Seems like a pretty clean depth chart or progression here. Maybe Noel. I mean, I doubt it, but maybe Noel Williams, for some reason they cut him. He'd be a good safety development guy. Can play some nickel for you. Yeah. Chiefs. Raiders. Now, Raiders have a guy well, if they cut him, I don't know, but I doubt they'll trade with you because you're going to be playing him first in a couple weeks here. But he's not even on here. We're looking at Dylan Laube. You lose. I mean, he is a great third down back. He's an amazing punt and kick returner. I shouldn't say amazing, but a very. I mean, I'd put him in the top half of the league as a punt and kick returner. Tough dude. Went to UNH. I liked them a couple years ago. I don't know why one of these guys are like, why aren't you grabbing him? And then they get to the Raiders. Not that he had a great year last year, but like he flashes. There's not a lot of, running backs last year didn't exactly flash across the league. So who else we got here? Tommy Mello. Again, a wide receiver now, but former quarterback. So if you're not wanting to put a third quarterback on the 53, but maybe you want to bring a wide receiver in, that could be break glass, or you just want to stash him on practice squad. Very similar there. Super athletic rookie out of Montana State. Caleb Rogers, but I think he might make it. Linebackers, Cody Lindenberg or Matt Jones. I'll take Barrett too. Defensive end, if Andre Carter makes it through waivers, you want to sign him to the practice squad, that's a good simulator. I think he's probably gained a decent amount of weight. I haven't watched him play. I did watch a little bit for the Vikings, but he's still kind of young. 6'6", 257, really long arms. Just he needed development. I mean, he was at the Army West Point, so he couldn't gain a lot of weight. No, a couple years in NFL weight rooms, he looks like he's at least did something during preseason. Yeah, so let's move on. NFC East. Just cracking into this, guys. I'm sorry. This is going to take forever. Johnny Cornelius, I saw him play a little bit in the Cowboys game. He looked pretty good. Not sure if he's going to make it, so that's one to look out for. Oh, Ryan Flournoy. He had a great game. I don't know if he's going to make it. He's a guy I would sign as an X. I would put him on the roster, just so everybody knows. I'll go out there and say it. I think he's better than Mingo. A lot of people. I was touting him a lot during the draft process. Just another missed opportunity. Defense, probably not much there. I'll take Siobhan. If they don't want to hold on to him for a year, I'll take Siobhan. All right, on to the Giants. Getting glitchy. Giants, probably not much. I know Evan Neal might be a cut candidate. Kubas could be another one. He can play some center for you. So, them. Maybe Elijah Chapman could be an option there. Maybe I'm missing something, but yeah, Kubas. Yeah, there's not much. Evan Neal, I could try him at left guard maybe if you feel like there's some way to save him. All right, that's much for the. You gotta go to Eagles now, right? Yep. Eagles should have a buttload. Ones I pointed out right away. Like, you can probably get Cam Williams, Trevor Keegan, Trevor Keegan, sorry. Cameron Williams, Drew Kendall, and then possibly Hollin Pierce, maybe even Miles Hinton. Kendall being a good solid center for BC, Cam Williams being developmental right tackle, and Hollin Pierce being developmental left tackle. I mean, both those are way up there on my lists. I would take probably Cam just because he's still got some development going on, and with he had an injury towards the end of the year, so that kind of came short. And then Drew Kendall, I think, could be competing for a starting center spot, in my opinion, the way he looked at BC. Maybe not the strongest dude, but I mean, the guy plays. Tough dude. So Drew Kendall might be top 5 in terms of if he gets cut. And then Cam Williams as a right tackle would be right there too. I mean, you could probably just do the center, right tackle, and then Hollin Pierce, and then make sure that you have Ben Brown and Jared Wilson ready to go for left guard. Anybody else? Yeah, of course, defense too. Let's see, Max and Hook. He's one to keep an eye on. Keely Ringo, if they let him go. Mac McWilliams, if he's let go, that would be another good one. Pretty sure they had Lewis Seen in here too. Where do they? Yeah, he'd be a. Yeah, he's not in here. Not that I'm a huge Lewis Seen fan, but that'd be a guy especially on special teams. Antoine Powell-Ryland, if you're looking for somebody, if you have to get rid of one of the, I guess you'd say, well, you know what, he'd probably, I like him. I thought he was underrated in this edge class, but I don't know who you're gonna lose in the edge that, yeah, I'm sure people would pick him up before some of the guys in ours, just because he's got development. Yeah, not seeing too much other than that. I mean, I like Dallas Gant, but he'll probably stay. I know Johnny Wilson's injured. Yeah, he's on IR. Yep, that's it. Moving on. Eagles, Commanders. Another team where I don't really have too much to look at. I was like, hey, what are the Patriots? They're going to get these guys for a whole day. I think maybe Tim McKay would be in there. Jordan McGee's an interesting linebacker. I'm not sure if there's any of them in here that they want to do. Yeah, that they're gonna. Yeah, I think they're gonna keep most of these guys. So. Yep. Sadly, like one or two guys here. All right, so Bears. A guy I want to like bring back if he's still on the list. Emery Chroma. They brought him off the Bears practice squad last year. The guy never got to really do anything. But I watched a lot of Bears preseason this year. That guy's in there. Like, that guy is violent. Swayze Bozeman's actually quite interesting. He'll probably be cut at some point, though. He would be bring him back on practice if you can get him on practice squad. Anybody else in here? Bears. The ones that we need to probably talk about the most are offensive linemen. I like Luke Newman. Theo Benedict is pretty interesting. Now, one of the guys, the big names I want to talk about is actually Kiran Amegadgie. I don't think he's going to be starting tackle. And maybe they move him into guard, but you have Joe Tooney there. I don't know. So, I think you could probably take Amegadgie. I'd take him, and maybe, the Bears actually kind of need some edge help in a way. They have top end edge, but they're not very deep there. So maybe that's an Anthony Jennings type of trade. And if they keep Kiran, they're probably not going to be able to keep Theo unless they move Theo inside. See, like, there's one of these two guys I think one of these two is going to be traded or cut, and it's going to be a tough decision for the Bears, but the Patriots could benefit from that. Yeah, so Chroma and one of these two. Amegadgie, I think, could play. He's developmental, but he could probably play some left or right, left tackle, backup left tackle, or play some left guard for you if you need to. Let's see, next. Lions. Probably going to be taking a step back this year. They have Giovanni Manu, right? At right tackle or right... Where do they have him listed? Left or right tackle? Yeah, he's one I'd keep an eye on. A lot of upside there. Sione Vaki as a running back / safety. I know the Patriots can probably figure out something to do with him. I like Lawrence Strickland as a strong safety a lot. I think he stays, though. And then, don't they have Miles Frazier? Oh, there he is. He's out. Miles Frazier would be up there. Again, another LSU guy. He was the right guard. But if he doesn't make it through... And then Mason Miller's also another good potential there. Both these two guys would be on my list for the Lions. We gotta go Packers now. Wide receivers here would be. I'm a big fan of. Where is he? Julian Hicks, Isaiah Nayer's another big outside wide receiver. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying we need to sign these at 53, but if these guys get cut, definitely worth being on the practice squad. Taylor Elgersma, I'm sure he's probably going to make it. He might be their third, but if he doesn't, that's one to keep an eye on for quarterback. Oh, they have Kadeem. I forgot they have Kadeem Telford. He's an interesting dude. Oh, Glover's on IR. And they have Jacob Monk. I forgot about Jacob Monk. Well, that they had him. He would be a good one. And then John Williams would be another one. So 1, 2, Donovan Jennings 3. Maybe Kadeem. Yeah, but he'd be practice squad. Guys that, like, I think Jacob Monk could play. He could play some guard and center for you. And John Williams can play some left tackle, but I think he'd be an amazing left guard. So these two high on my list overall, and then these guys for practice squads. Taylor, if you needed a third running back or a quarterback. You know who's looked good is Kalen King. Put him at nickel / safety. It would be definitely a developmental situation. Deep roster, maybe practice squad situation. Next. Vikings. This one should be interesting. Now, they have guys that I like, as usual. Seems like all the NFC teams that I think have great UDFA, deep developmental guys, or just good drafts in general, are typically really good NFC teams. So he's going to make the squad, but I love Xavier Xavier Scott he went to UNH. I think what was he first? He was a Colt, then Seahawk, and then now on Vikings. He's looked great for them. Awesome third down package guy for them. Logan Brown might be an option, but I'm not 100% sold on him. Joe Huber, on the other hand, as a left guard, 100%. I think he might make it, though. He's looked great in their tape. Tight ends, they have Batty, right? Or not Batty. Bryson Nesbitt, and then I think they also have Ben Urasek, right? Or they cut him. But that's a potential practice squad ad for the Patriots. Get him synced back up with Drake and see if something comes out of it. Brosmer's gonna make it. Defensive side, they got a decent amount of guys. Again, Tyler Batty, I'm big on. Elijah Williams. What was he? He was Morgan State, right? Yeah. Violent. Who else? Oh, Bo Richter. Didn't they get him last year? Is he still on this? Yeah, he's there. I always liked him. Like, just a million miles per hour. So, looking for like a hard-hitting, good run stuffer. You can get Tyler Batty and Bo Richter. Both Tyler Batty and Bo Richter, both those guys, when they were on teams, they racked up a decent amount of pressure. But it wasn't at the sacrifice of, losing containment or anything like that. Those guys followed their game plans. So I would love both of them. And unfortunately, there's not much space on the roster. There's guys, it's not that, I can't really think of anybody right now currently on the Patriots roster that I would say, oh yeah, just get rid of him for these guys. Especially, the Patriots right now are pretty much loaded at the edge positions. Anybody else on the Vikings? No, that might be it. We're going to move on. Getting close here, though. NFC South Falcons. Not much here. I know they have Jack Nelson, who I haven't watched them. I haven't really watched any Falcons, so I haven't seen how he's been playing thus far. Nick Nash, still like that guy. Just seems to be, an intelligent receiver. Again, I haven't. Well, how is he actually? You know what? Might as well take a look, right? I haven't. Well, how is he actually? You know what? Might as well take a look, right? All right, so I mean, he's produced something. 12 receptions, 19 targets, 136 yards. Okay. Okay, Nick Nash. He might make the team. Damn, he's old. That can't be right. Nick Nash is 26 years old. Anyway, they picked up Brandon Dorless, right? Yeah, so Brandon Dorless, he'd be one. If they're going to cut ties with him, he'd be one to keep an eye out for if they're looking for more edge or defensive. Actually, Dorless can play some D tackle. So there you go. Panthers, not going to be getting much out of this, except they have, as a linebacker, they have Bam Martin Scott, who I like. Where's he? Defense. Bam Martin Scott, and then they also have Jack Henderson, I saw. JJ Weaver. Where's Jack Henderson? Do they not have him at strong safety? Where do they have him? Nickel. Oh, you know what? Yeah, he played more like a nickel. Okay. But Jack Henderson's he played for Minnesota. I don't know how he didn't get drafted. Just never really got too much, momentum. Didn't really get, I don't think he got any big invites to any of the All-Star Game showcases, but he made some plays. Maybe there's something about him I don't know about, but I always thought his tape was good out of from Minnesota. I think they'll probably keep Mitchell Evans, but if they don't, there's a tight end to possibly add. Next, Saints. Saints have, this is a big one. Saints have a bunch. So right off the bat, I'll get to this one. If they even have him listed. Oh, there he is. Trevor Penning. I'm willing to trade something for Trevor Penning. Him moving into guard looks good. Not that it looks amazing. His timing, his punch timing is still not great. His reaction speed, obviously being out on the tackle, the reaction timing's different. You have to be ready to go right up when the guys are right up in front of your face. But it looks good. And man, him and Will Campbell on the left side would be an absolute mauler type mentality. People are going to hate playing against you. Now, another two that I need to point out if they're available before I forget would be Christian Boyd. I would definitely take him, but I guess he's the next best guy behind Godshaw. So anyway, he's not going to be available. But who could be is our boy Isaiah Foskey. And I say our boy, not really. But if the Patriots lose, say, Anthony Jennings, but they still want somebody who can, work in or close to the line of scrimmage, but also play off, but play some D tackle, play some a variety of different defensive alignments. Isaiah Foskey can do that. He has not been utilized properly by the Saints. He's just been essentially entirely, stand up 2-point edge, moving him, slightly in or slightly out, but they're not moving him around like how they did in Notre Dame. They used him a variety of different ways. I think the Patriots could do that. So he might be maybe cut, but you might want to throw, a 7th rounder in there for him if you want to pick him up, if you think you could do something with it. Now, other guys I like pointing out, Tyreen Powell. That's another inside linebacker you might want to, if you want a big run stuffer. And if you're looking for somebody who can play a little bit faster, also play some safety for you, Isaiah Stallbird, way up on my list. Anybody else? Oh, for tackles, Isaiah Israem is in the house. Yeah, Isaiah Israem, Mendoza. Well, not so much. I'm more higher on Israem. And then Simpkins can play some guard and center for you. And then Kyle Hergel, which I'm guessing, I don't think that's right. I think he plays left guard. And some tackle as well, but he might make it. I don't know. But you got some guys on the offensive line here. All right, next. Right, we're out of here. We have Easton Kilty. He's pretty good too. He'd be more of a practice squad guy that you might elevate eventually. Bucks. Michael Pratt might be up there. Yeah, Michael Pratt's not even laying. Yeah, he's not even listed. Michael Pratt would be. He might. Has he been cut already? Michael Pratt. I'd put him on there. Let's see. Not much there. Am I wrong with Michael Pratt being on the Bucks? I know they have Jake Majors. I was going to say, I know they have Jake Majors. That would be an interesting pickup for them. Is Luke Haggard? No, this is all messed up. Luke Haggard, keep an eye on that one. Ben Scott, I think is he left guard? I think this one's all messed up, but Ben Scott, Luke Haggard, Jake Majors. Defense, JJ. Oh, he's on IR? Shit. Damn. David Walker's on IR. Man, these guys are not having a good time here. Nash Hutmacher, he can play some nose guard for you. Alright, let's get moving on to the West. Home stretch here, I'm sorry. So Cardinals, big one here for me would be Christian Jones. If he gets cut, also worthy of pick swap or trade possibly. Where do they have him? Oh, I'm up here. Christian Jones, oh, he's injured. But Christian Jones, I would definitely consider him. Josh Fryer, I liked coming out of the draft. No one picked him up. He's on IR too. McClendon Curtis, I'd take a flyer on. He's a pretty strong dude. Again, he'd be more like a practice squad guy. Guys that you might want to put on your 53 to develop would be Christian Jones and Josh Fryer. Anybody else? Cardinals? Probably not. I know defense, there's a decent amount. Patrick Jenkins, Elijah Simmons, good big three. What's he like? 340? Yes, he's this guy. If you want run stuffer, there you go. Where's Xavier Thomas? I don't, unless I'm missing, I'm pretty sure Xavier Thomas is on. Anyway, Xavier Thomas, I believe, is on the Arizona. I'm pretty sure he played last night. But he would be on my list of guys you might want to bring in as a practice squad and then elevate. Or maybe if you're feeling good about him, he's got some speed, very violent edge rusher. Yeah, that's weird. Anybody else here on this side? I think Cody Simon will make their team. Stephen Gilmore. I don't even know if he's played yet. No, not really. Taywon Palmer might be cut. You'd have to, but he would be again, more of like a practice squad wide receiver that you might want to elevate. But if we keep John Giles, I'm good with that guy. Not much there though. Rams should have a few. Willie Lampkin being the top guy here. Willie Lampkin. Not much beyond that, huh? I can't take Bo Limmer. Well, you know what? No, he's playing some guard. So if maybe if they keep Willie Lampkin, you go Bo Limmer. Now Willie Lampkin, I'd be taking him for maybe some guard duty, really big backup center if you needed it, but also the potential conversion to fullback. which he might not want to do, but I don't know, being on a 53-man squad versus being on a practice squad, I don't know. Anybody else? Oh, they got Sean Dolak. Milford Academy, baby. Not that I went there, but I know people who did go to Milford Academy. Produced some pretty gritty football players, let's just say that. Yeah, that's about it. Crazy. Again, it's like some of the best rosters have basically nobody that are going to be cut that you're going to want. It's like it's like the guys that they are going to cut are just, it's amazing. Like, I mean, besides like maybe again like the Vikings and the Eagles. Trey Tomlinson's on IR. Marcus Siegel, that's one to make note of. I know they have Drew Moss. That's one to keep an eye on. Him, Connor Colby, those two. Junior Bergen, that's an interesting one. I don't know how he's holding up. Actually, let's take a look at his stats. 1 reception on 2 targets for 1 yard. Not doing great. But if you need a practice squad slot receiver, there you go. Anybody else for? Not really. Again, 49ers just, they don't really have much you're looking for at the back half here. I'm sure there's, for the Patriots at this point in time. Yeah. 49ers. Last but not least, Seahawks. Offensive line. Christian Haynes is a potential trade candidate for me if you need to get a guard. I don't know. I'm pretty sure he's a right guard, but I don't know if he can play left for you. He hasn't really been great, but at the same time, if you're looking for somebody to be cut that might still have some upside with you, Christian Haynes, this is my top guy for the Seahawks right now, if they're going to go after somebody from there. Because at this point, some of the other guys that I've loved in the previous drafts that got a chance here, I think Jalen Sundle's your starting center here, and Michael Jarrell is probably your first guy off the bench for guard and tackle. They have Mason Richmond. That's an option. He's not bad. Iowa, big dude. Practice squad guy you elevate. Yeah, so that's about it. Now, let's talk what I really need to talk about, which unfortunately is at the end here. The trade ones I'm looking at. It's probably Trevor Penning at the top of the list there if you're looking for a guy who can play guard, but obviously can play left and right tackle for you in a pinch. I guess your backup. Tone setter makes sense to me. Center with some guard flex. Drew Kendall, followed by probably Clay Webb. Guards, or how about tackles? Tackles going Kiran, Amegadgie. He could be an option there. And then you obviously have Cam Williams. You have Hollin Pierce. John Williams. Also throw in Xavier Truss. Frank Crum. Emery Jones. Anybody else in there? Guard, you're looking at Dellinger. He's in the one to consider. Jackson Slater. Jacob Monk for guard center. Joe Huber looked pretty good. Kyle Hergel might be available. Christian Jones, don't forget about him. Drew Moss, Willie Lampkin. Those are like kind of my high-end guys that I think would be worthy of 53-man roster spots. Defense-wise, D-tackle, he might require a trade, but Adebawore, he's in there. Tyler Batty would be a 53-man roster or possibly practice squad dude. I would probably think you'd have to commit to 53 for him. Same thing with Foskey. Fullback, Lucas Scott. Probably the one I'm looking for the most. I'm sure he'll be a last-minute cut just because I think maybe they want to sneak him back in on the practice squad, but he be in there. Offensive guys, not too many actually. Malachi Corley is probably the only receiver I would really be interested in. And even then, I don't even know. He might be completely shot. I don't know. He might be somebody that's just, a bust, unfortunately. I don't know. I hope not, for his sake. Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry that's a little bit disjointed, but yeah, I mean, I would say maybe him, Dylan Laube would be, him, Malachi Corley, and Dylan Laube are essentially the only two guys I would be really keeping an eye out for. And then any sort of quarterback. I don't know if any of the Cleveland guys will be cut. Elgersma could be an option for you out of Green Bay. Yeah. So I think the teams that you should be keeping an eye on would be who's getting cut from the Eagles, getting cut from the Vikings. The Ravens would be a big one. The Raiders had a decent amount in there. The Saints have a decent amount that you should be looking at. Surprisingly, yes, the Saints probably have a few guys you might be looking out for. And then Green Bay. Anyway, I'll put some of these names down in the description. Maybe I'll post some of it on X. Let me know what you guys are looking for. Or should the Patriots be like in the trade market more? Should they be going after a trade Hendrickson? Is it, do they go after Terry? I don't know. Those seem like they're going to be expensive. Who knows? But some of these guys, like, what would a Trevor Penning or Trevor Penning cost you? What would be, what would cost to go get Adebawore? Like, it'd be like a day 3 pick or something like that. Maybe 5th, 6th or something like that. Kiran Amegadgie, maybe. If they're going to cut him, you offer him like a 6th or 7th. Same thing with Christian Haynes. Dylan Laube. I mean, you might be able to sit on that one, but I don't know, pick swap or something like that. Corley might require a day 3 pick if you want to go after him. Yeah, anyway, let me know what you guys think. If you guys like this content, please like and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.